He was just a single dad trying to get through another exhausting night at work when his coworker suddenly collapsed in front of him. With no time to waste, he rushed her through the rain to the hospital. But on the way, she grabbed his hand and whispered something that left him completely stunned. "If I don't make it, tell him I love him." Who was she talking about, and why had she kept this secret for so many years? Stay with us until the end, because what Jason discovers will change all of their lives. But before we get started, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who loves emotional stories, and subscribe to Enlightened Story. Now let's get started. Jason Mitchell had learned to live with exhaustion since becoming a single father. His days began before sunrise when he packed his 8-year-old daughter, Sophie's lunch before heading to work at Bennett and Reed Financial in downtown Chicago. His coworker, Claire Bennett, was sharp and hardworking, and the two had grown close over long shifts and shared deadlines. One rainy Thursday evening, Jason was finishing paperwork when he heard a loud crash from Claire's office. He ran inside and found her on the floor, pale and barely conscious. "Claire!" he shouted, dropping beside her. She tried to speak, but her breathing was weak. Jason immediately called 911, then realized the ambulance might take too long in the heavy traffic. He carefully helped her into his car and drove toward Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Halfway there, Claire suddenly opened her eyes. She reached for Jason's hand with surprising strength. "Jason, if I don't make it, tell him I love him." Jason froze. "Tell who?" Claire tried to answer, but her eyes closed again. Jason gripped the steering wheel, his mind racing. Who was him? A husband? An old boyfriend? Someone Jason had never heard about? When they reached the emergency entrance, doctors rushed Claire away. Jason stood alone beneath the hospital's bright lights, soaked from the rain and terrified. He called Sophie's babysitter to explain he would be late, then sat down and stared at the operating room doors. For the first time, Jason realized his sharp, confident coworker had been carrying a secret heartache all along, and whatever happened next could change both their lives. Hours passed before the operating room doors finally opened. Jason stood immediately, his heart pounding as a doctor approached and told him Claire had survived the surgery. The relief nearly made his knees buckle. He was allowed to see her later that night, and Claire looked exhausted but awake. Jason pulled a chair beside her bed. "You scared me," he said softly. Claire managed a weak smile. "I'm sorry." Jason remembered her words in the car. "You told me to tell someone you loved him. Who were you talking about?" Claire stared at the ceiling for several seconds before finally answering. "Nathan Reed." Jason blinked. He recognized the name. Nathan was the principal at Sophie's elementary school. "I've known him for years," Claire whispered. "I love him, but I was always afraid to say it. I thought maybe he didn't feel the same." Jason smiled. "Then you should tell him yourself." The next afternoon, Jason called Nathan and explained that Claire was awake. Nathan arrived at the hospital almost immediately. When he entered the room, Claire became nervous, but Jason quietly stepped outside. Through the hallway window, he watched Nathan take Claire's hand. She finally confessed everything. Nathan smiled through tears and admitted he had loved her for years, too. A few weeks later, Claire returned to work. She thanked Jason for saving her life, but he told her she had saved herself by finally being honest. Months later, Jason watched Sophie laughing beside Claire and Nathan at Thanksgiving dinner. What had begun as a terrifying night in the rain had brought 4 people closer than any of them ever expected.